Shruti Smriti Purana Ayam Karuna Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Yoga Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krita Vande Bhagavato Purana Samastha Kalyan Niratam Karunayam Chinmayam Devam Sadguruvam Brahmayatvaram Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Shri Ganesha Rakshama Jaya Ganesha Pahima Jaya Ganesha Pahima Shri Ganesha Rakshama Shri Ganesha Rakshama Vivekananda Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Okay, so now we've been seeing these three very important words. All things are included in these three words. Jagat, Jiva and Jagadish. And nothing which is left out. So Jagat is this entire observable, objective universe. They call Jagat, whatever I see. In 13th chapter of Gita is called a Kshetra. Kshetra means the field. And you will encounter many words used for the same thing. The Prapancha. Prapancha means that which is made up of the 5 elements. So the whole, where has it come from? It's evolved from reality. Reality through its power of Maya evolves space, air, fire, water, earth. Those recombine and all. Split and recombine to form all things, including this Upadhi, this conditioning of body, and Antakarana, which is inside. All of it is formed from the same 5 elements. Now we know about body, mind, intellect, isn't it? We know it very well. So that also is objective. We say my body, my mind. So there's a me, the one who is owning that thing, isn't it? That's how you know. Once, as long as you can say it is mine, my body, my mind, my intellect, my karma, my. There's a person or being to whom all of these belong. So all of those things which are owned by me, they are all jara. I am the knower of them. I am the owner of them. Like that. It is very clear to all of us. If I say this is my book, that means I am not the book. You cannot say my something and then be that thing. Then there is no my relationship, isn't it? There is me, the owner, and the thing which is owned. So the Jagat includes all things which is known by me or owned by me also. Known or owned, doesn't matter. It is all part of Jagat. And I am the knower of all of those things. So at the individual level, if the Buddhi is knowing, that time we are talking about a Jiva. The Jiva is that same Brahman now, from which these 5 elements evolve. That same Brahman reflecting in that Antakarana. When it reflects in there, 2 contrary things come together. The Brahman is of the nature of consciousness. The Upadhi is of the nature of Jara Vastu, it is called. So the conscious thing, like the sun, which is fire, reflecting in a bucket, which is water. 2 contrary things, but they come together. What to say? People in this world feel that contrary things are exclusive. They are not exclusive. Contrary things actually belong together. Like for example, in a magnet, you must have positive and negative pole. And if you try to get rid of the negative poles, then what happens? This is decided negative. Cut off that pole. Right there, another pole will form. Contrary things, they are always together. Jagat is like that. The whole world. Because at the fundamental level, that is what has happened. 2 contrary things have come together. Jada and Chetan. The conscious reality and the Jada Vastu, like sun in the bucket. So now, that conscious reality reflecting in this Antakarana, the product of these 2 contrary things coming together, that we call as Jiva. That now means what? Something called Anyonya Adhyasa has taken place, I told you. But there's a mutual exchange of gunas, qualities between the 2. So the Jara Vastu, which is dead, it cannot know anything, now starts knowing. Isn't it? Is it inert and things don't know. This book doesn't know it is sitting on harmonium. How a book will know it is sitting on harmonium? It doesn't have any knowing capacity, you see. Jada, one Jada thing cannot know another Jada thing. So suddenly this whole Antakarana starts knowing. That is because it borrowed consciousness from Brahman. Then second thing, that Brahman which is infinite, all pervasive, that now in a finite antakarana seems to have become finite. Infinite now taken on the guna of finitude. And the jada vastu now taken on the guna of chetan. Like that, exchange of gunas have come between the two. So that is called as anyonya adhyas, the mutual sharing of gunas, of qualities between the two. And when that sharing has taken place, that whatever is born in between there really is called the jiva. So now that reality which is reflecting in that antakarana to form jiva, that is like if you have bucket and water alone, that is not jiva. If you have sun alone, that is not jiva. When the two come together there, then they call jiva. The two have to be there. Now if you extricate from the bucket with water and there is the sun in there, you please understand this. That sun which is in the bucket, that sun is never ever divorced from the sun in the sky. If you take, this is the bucket is here, the sun is reflecting. You take a piece of cardboard and you block that sun. What will you see in the bucket? Nothing, isn't it? It cannot ever be divorced. Whatever is in that bucket is exactly what is in the sky. The two cannot be separated. If you separate, there will be nothing in that bucket. In other words, for that jiva to take place, jiva is born there, right? Sun and water. This consciousness, in this case the sun, has to always be connected to that, isn't it? So in other words, the jiva, which is the individual, that jiva, the conscious part of that jiva, because two contrary things have come together, the conscious part of the jiva is always connected to, it cannot ever be disconnected. Then there is no jiva. Because two things are required. In other words, the conscious part of jiva is always connected to Brahma. And not only that now, we take that one step further. That conscious part is nothing but Brahma. So in me, there are two parts, right? There is the conscious part and there is the jada part. The conscious part is always that infinite consciousness, just reflecting in this. And like that sun also now, if you have 1,000 buckets, it will reflect in 1,000 buckets. But how many suns are there? One sun, isn't it? One infinite consciousness reflecting in all these antakarana, which is countless. And this planet 7 billion, not counting other planets. Yesterday they found one planet with water. So they're telling. Science is such a baby stage yet. Scriptures are telling Ananta Koti Brahmanda. How many jivas, infinite number of jivas and all. I don't know why this science goes on spending so much money. You spend billions and billions and billions to build labs to find God particle. You buy a Upanishad for $2, you'll find it. God is spending all the money, but anyway, they like the game. So the consciousness is one and it reflects in countless antakaranas. There's only one consciousness, like one sun. And you just bring a bucket of water there and you'll get a new one. So you bring the right upadhi and that consciousness will reflect. Right? So this is from the dualistic standpoint so far, right? Because remember, we are saying there are two things. Jada vastu and then the conscious element reflecting in that. But we also studied that Jada vastu itself has evolved from that same Brahman. So how many things are there now? One thing, isn't it? And that's why I told you there's a duet of one. So this is why we study. This is what we studied so far. One of them was called this Jada Vastu, which is evolved from that same Brahman, which is forms the whole Jagat, and the other is Jiva, which is formed by the combination of that Chaitanya consciousness and this Jada Vastu, two coming together. Really speaking, now when you go back, the two of them have one source, one origin. So that means what now? The reality is capable of manifesting as Jada and is capable of still being conscious. And reality itself comes together with itself. Comes together by itself, with itself, and forms this Jiva. That reality, now today we have to start studying. There's all these other ones we studied already now. The reality in Sanskrit is called as Brahman. Brahman. Brahman literally means big. Big means infinite. So big that big to the point of infinite. Ananta. Brahman is described in our Taittiriya Upanishad as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So now first let me tell you a little bit about the word itself, because there's a lot of confusion about that word. Now there are three words which are very close. Please pay attention to those three words because many people get confused with those words. One word is called as Brahman, right? Then just now in the Upanishad, for the little line which I told, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman word is not there. Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And the third word is Brahma. Yeah, Brahmaji. And see the pronunciation itself. See, even with pronunciation there is confusion in this word. Everybody say Brahma, ending with ha. Huh? But the Sanskrit phonetic is not like that. It is Brahma. Brahma. It ends with ma, not ha. The ha comes before, but this is hard to say. I told you now in our Indian languages, anything is hard to say, difficult to say. People make an easy version of that fast. See, and Indian people are very good at so many things, you know. Look here. There is something called Parabrahma. Parabrahma, that Brahma which is transcendental, beyond, right? Parabrahma. In our Om Jai Jagadish Hare Arti, devotees also, they make up new words. You know. They're Parabrahmas. Parabrahma is the proper Hindi and Sanskrit terminology. Parabrahma. But and the thing is, when they make up a new word, it has meaning also, so you can't say anything also. Because Parabrahma means that Brahma which is beyond also, yeah. So you come up with something new, Parabrahma. Anyway, these three forms of this word is there. Brahman, Brahma, and Brahma. And the ha comes before the ma, eh? So it's a little bit difficult to say. So people go on saying Brahma, Brahmaji. So now, what is Brahman, what is Brahma, and what is Brahma? Let me tell you a little bit of Sanskrit terminology now, then it will perhaps become clear. In Sanskrit, every noun has 24 forms of that noun. Any noun is in it. So, if you take Rama. Rama is the one we start with only. Rama is noun, right? So Rama will have first form. The 24 forms of Rama will be there. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, like that. Will go over 24 forms of that will be there. So that is called the declension of that noun. The declension of a noun has 24 forms. The noun in its raw state, that is called as the substantive noun. So the substantive noun is Rama. And the first case singular of that Rama is Ramaha. Like that. And then you have 23 other forms. So now, in this word Brahma and Brahma, the substantive form is Brahman. That is the noun in its raw state, without a declension of those 24 forms and all of that sort of thing. Now there's one more additional complexity in that Sanskrit. That noun, many nouns like that, will also have a masculine form or a feminine form, and some nouns will have a neuter form. So you have 24 plus 24 plus 24. Some nouns. So in one noun, if you first decline that in masculine, you get 24 forms. You decline that in feminine, you get 24 other forms. And you decline in neuter again, you get 24 forms again. You're in real trouble, isn't it? So best thing, if you have to study Sanskrit, you take a firm resolve from before, because that is what you're going to meet. If you don't take a resolve from before, when you see that alone, you go home. Isn't it? That is why when we teach Sanskrit and people come and sit down, we close the door. Because when you see so many forms of this thing, you will run away. 144 forms of, oh no, how much will it be? 24, 27, 66, like that. 40, 12, 60, 72, 72. Like, operate of one no? It is mind-boggling. So anyway, you take this Brahman, which is the substantive form now, right? When you decline that Brahman, that is a substantive noun, in neuter, you get Brahma. The first case is Brahma. First of the 24. Brahma in neuter. When you decline that same Brahman, same substantive noun, in masculine, the first of the 24 form is Brahma. Then Brahma, Jiva, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So you decline that same noun in the masculine, you get that first case will be Brahmaji, that Brahma. If you decline in neuter, the first case is Brahma. So in our talk today, we are studying the absolute reality, which is Brahma, not Brahmaji of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. That will come just now, but we are studying the absolute reality. So that is Brahma, which ending in short and Brahmaji is long like that. So anytime we hear the word Brahma, we are speaking about the absolute reality. Anytime we hear Brahma, we are talking about Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, like that. So now, when we said in the topic, Jiva Jagath Jagadeshwara, that Jagadeshwara word we are using to refer to Brahma, the absolute reality, from which everything has evolved. Supreme, infinite, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahmaji will come just now, we'll see about that. So now, that absolute reality, Brahma. So don't mix up those words now. Brahman word is the substantive noun, Brahma is the neuter first form, and Brahma is the masculine first form. So now the absolute reality in Vedanta is what gender then? The absolute reality in Vedanta is neuter gender. So first thing to start, you see, Vedanta, in Vedanta, the reality is not masculine nor feminine. Correct? You see, all other religions of this world, all other teaching of this world, in the beginning itself, there is a gender bias.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you have this gender against that gender. I recently saw a t-shirt. You know, they have nice prints on t-shirts. A woman was wearing that t-shirt. What was written there? When God made man, she was only joking. That is a double message in one, so you say. That shows, you see, gender bias has had its impact and effect on people. People don't like that gender bias and all, isn't it? When God made man, she was only joking. So first of all, man is a joke. So there's one blow already. And then second thing, God is a she, isn't it? So when there's a gender bias, this thing will always be there. But this Brahman is neither masculine nor feminine. So first thing, reality is neither masculine nor feminine. See, if you say reality is masculine, even if you make the claim that reality is masculine, already you have introduced duality, because how masculine is only in relation to feminine, correct? You're introducing duality from the beginning itself. So reality cannot be masculine nor feminine by definition, because reality is a non-dual. So it cannot be masculine or feminine. So now, that is first thing. This is at a very simple level for everyday, discussion. People talk about reality and gender bias and God, and the whole world has become chauvinistic and male dominated because first of all we posited a male God and this and that. Big what you call it, debate is always there about this thing. And of course, because it is male dominated, the males get their program through, and all the females are then. Anyway, you can have that debate when you have your ordinary kusang. So, first thing, neuter, neither masculine nor feminine. Second thing, that reality is described as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Three, the reality is also described as Akarta, right? Akarta, it is a non-doer. Reality is also described Ekam Advitiyam. Ekam Advitiyam means it is one without a second. So how many descriptions of that reality? Is one without a second. Now, when we use these type of words, the words themselves describing that reality, they pose certain problems. So we say, let us say Brahman or Brahma, which will be one and same. Brahman is substantive, Brahma the masculine and the neuter, first case. Brahma, the absolute reality, we say is Ekam Advitiyam, one without a second. So in the ordinary person will say, but I am seeing a variety, I am seeing more than one. So how you are saying that there is only one thing in this universe? If I see more than one, and you are saying that there is only one, but then there is something wrong. So that has to be explained. How that reality, which is only one, how that reality appears as many. The scriptures also describe, no? It is Abhibhaktam, undivided, one uniform, all-pervasive reality. Undivided. Abhibhaktam. Vibhakteshu, amongst all the divided things. This is here, it's split. So amongst all this variety, among all this diversity, which is Vibhaktam, diversity is Vibhaktam. In this diverse universe, there is only one thing. but I am seeing diversity. So how that has happened? See, let us try to see. We have today, tomorrow, so we'll see all of these things now. Right? That is all. This is called Jagadeshwara now. We are dealing with Brahma, the absolute reality. How one thing can appear as many things? Well, that is a very simple thing. You see that every day in life. And this Kumar, the potter, he goes out to the field over there, and some places he knows where to get the proper clay. Because all clay will not work. You have to get special clay, isn't it? So he goes over there and he brings that much clay. Then from this clay, he kneads it and everything, and he makes clay elephant, clay dog, clay plate, clay cup, clay spoon, clay everything, clay. So remember, first you start with this big clump of clay. Now you have individual objects, right? So let us say he started off with 100 pounds of clay. Now you have these individual objects made out of that 100 pounds of clay. If you weigh all these individual objects, how many pounds you will get? Say 100 pounds, isn't it? The 100 pounds will not increase or decrease. So 100 pounds of clay he brings and he makes all of these objects. When you walk into his shop, you have an opportunity, when you look, you have an opportunity to look at Nama, Rupa, or you have an opportunity to look at clay. Once you look at Nama, Rupa, you forget clay. When you look at clay, you forget Nama, Rupa, names and forms. And if you touch a clay dog and you touch a clay elephant, you are touching same clay or not? Because the same clay came from the same clump. So at the same time, while there is a diversity in that shop, there is also a unity. Because the unity comes from the one clay which went into making everything. So there is at the same time a diversity and there is a unity in that shop. Some people do that out of chocolate. Somebody was telling me. He went to Europe and his friend took him to a chocolate shop. And everything in the shop was made from chocolate. Chocolate dog and chocolate elephant, and chocolate snake and chocolate cockroach and chocolate everything. So his friend took up, try this chocolate cockroach. That fellow had a bite. He said it tastes like an ordinary cockroach to me. So in the shop, now if you try a chocolate cockroach and a chocolate beetle, they will taste same. If they taste different, there's something in your mind, not in the chocolate. So you have an opportunity in that shop to look at in the clay shop. You look at clay, then you're looking at unity. Or you have an opportunity to look at the Nama Roop, you're looking at diversity. Right? I also told you on one of the previous days, Nama Rupa is a mere appearance. It's called as avabhasa. Avabhasa. Avabhasa is an appearance. When a thing appears, when we say there's an appearance, when you see a ghost on a post, a snake on a rope, a mirage on the highway, they're called as avabhasa. An appearance. That appearance is an illusion. That is nothing more than an illusion. Is an illusion a real thing? No. An illusion, though seen, it is really not there. So all Nama Rupa is like that. All Nama Rupa is avabhasa. If there may appearances. Nama Rupa is not a real thing. So in the shop now, what you have? Say let's take one of the item, clay elephant, right? You bring clay elephant here. So what you have? The rupa of elephant with a trunk and 4 legs and big body and all. That's a rupa form. Then you have name elephant. So nama, name, rupa, form. Then you have clay. I told you this on the first day. So you have 3 things. So out of these 3 things, only clay is real. The other 2 things are not real. Because if we remove atom of clay from this elephant and we keep it aside, after removing all the clay, the other 2 things, they vanish. If they were real, when we removed one thing, the other 2 should stay there, but they don't. So from this very simple bit of analysis, we can see from the 3 things, only one is real. Nama and Rupa, name and form, they are just mere appearances. And all this whole universe like this is made up of only names and forms. And what is the fundamental material of the universe? See, in the case of the elephant, the material is clay. In case of this Nama Rupa, the material is clay. What is the fundamental material of this universe? The fundamental material of this universe is called as Sat. Sat means existence. And what is that existence? That is Brahman. Just look at Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So just as this elephant has Nama, Rupa and a fundamental material called as clay, so also this universe has Nama, Rupa and a fundamental material called as Sat, existence. So just to study this existence a little bit now, we get some object. When science asks, what is this? A battery. No, I mean, what is it made up of? So we say it is made up of molecules. Then you get a better microscope and you go deeper, you find out it is made up of atoms. Then you get a better microscope and you go deeper than that, because we kept improving the quality of microscope and our view. Then you find out that the atom itself is made up of electrons, protons, neutrons, and all. You go deeper, and strings and quarks and neutrinos and this, and you go deeper and like that, right? Then you say it is made up of energy. It is energy. Matter and energy is one and same. It's made up of energy. Then we say that energy is made up of what? We say the energy. We see this Vedanta only takes that thing one step further. That energy is made up of existence. Existence is the building block. And there's an easy way to see that also. Look here. This thing exists. Every part of it exists. And no matter how deep you go into it, whatever you will encounter, anything exists. It exists. Now, this exists. I exist. There is space between the both of us. Space exists? Yes. So now where is existence absent? Nowhere. I mean, this exists. I exist. Every part of it exists. Every part of me exists. The space in between exists. There's a line between this and the space. Line exists? Yes. In fact, there is only in this universe existence. Nothing but existence. That existence is called Sat in Sanskrit. So the building block of the universe really is Sat. And that Sat is that same absolute reality which we are talking about. That reality is called as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. See? Or sometimes you say Satchit Anand. That word you have heard before. You see? So, just as in the shop, you only have one fundamental material and many Nama Rupa. It's so also in this universe, you have one fundamental material and countless Nama Rupa. And even if you say there is a vacuum or a void, the void exists or not? The vacuum or the void, how you are talking about it. I tell you, non-existence also exists. If I say non-existence, that thing has to first be a concept in my mind before I speak about it or not. So it exists in my mind as a concept. The concept of non-existence exists in my mind. So then what? There is no such thing as non-existence. No. Non-existence also exists. Because when you are saying, when we use the word non-existence in ordinary language, we mean to say something that which is not there, but non-existence is there. It's there in my mind. It's a very tricky thing. In Trinidad, we used to have a bus in the ashram, a big bus, like 25 people. And I used to drive that bus long ago. So they're all ashram people used to sit, and we used to go satsang some other part of the island, When satsang is over, I'll sit there, then I'll look back. The right hand drives, so you look on this side. Everybody's come. Time to go back. Yes, Swamiji, everybody has come. All those who are missing, raise your hand. Some hands used to go up also. But if you are raising your hand, that means you are there, isn't it? You can't be missing. If I ask you, show me something that doesn't exist. But if you are showing me the thing, that means it exists. You cannot show me something that doesn't exist. Please see that. Yeah. So at one place, our Guruji asked, do you see the horns on my head? That man said, not yet, Guruji. Now, if I'm talking about the horns on my head, first I have to form a concept of the horns on my head. And when that concept is formed, then I vocalize that concept, isn't it? I articulate that concept in words, right? So the concept precedes the articulation in words. Therefore, it has to exist first in my mind as a concept, correct? So even when I say the horns on my head, that also exists in some form. In this case, in the form of a concept. Why am I telling you all of this? Because I tell you, existence is inescapable. Because there is only one thing in the universe called as existence. That's how we again come back to Ekam Advitiyam. That reality is one uniform existence. And uniform means uniform. It is not that the space exists more and I exist less. Both are made up of the same one uniform existence. Because when a clay scorpion, which is a poisonous creature, a despicable creature, nobody wants to get close to it, and a clay murti of Ram, which is a venerable form. One doesn't exist more and one doesn't exist less. And the clay in one is not of a better quality and the clay in one is of lesser quality. The clay in both of them is of the same quality. Correct or not? Because it came from the same clump of clay. So, if you take that clay and you make out of that clay Ram and then Ravana, if you take the same clay and make Ram and Ravana, right? The making of Ravana, who is an evil person, does it make the clay evil? No. No matter what you do with that clay, the clay of Ravana and the clay of Rama, the two clay will be one and same. That's what I mean to say that reality is one uniform reality. It is not existing in some places more and some places less. It is not defiled in some places and in some places reverential. Not like that. At the superficial level, we have all such things as one place it is reverential, one place it is defiled, and all such things. But at its fundamental level of existence is one uniform thing. Undifferentiated, we say. Undifferentiated. Uniform, undifferentiated reality. And that existence is inescapable, all pervasive, it makes up everything, it is the fundamental material of this universe, and all in nama rupa, there may appearances, whatever we see. And now human beings live at which level? Nama rupa. What to talk about existence and Brahman and all? No. Everybody? And that is how quickly we get so sidetracked by things. When you go window shopping, first you see the Nama Rupa, isn't it? Then only you think what material it is made up from. But Nama Rupa is captivating. So anyway, so now, this Brahman, this reality of Brahma is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So now, just now we saw how it is Satyam, because it is what makes up all the things in the universe. All the things in the universe exist and exist equally. You don't exist more than me, and I don't exist more than you. There are no degrees in existence. Existence is the final building block of this universe. Now, that same existence is also called as Jnanam, or Sat is also called as Chit. Existence is also called as Chit, isn't it? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Suppose that existence was there and it is not known by anyone. Suppose it is there, not known by anyone. So is it there? If it is there and not known by me, nor by Ishvara, nor by anybody, is any such thing there? No, on what basis you are saying it is there? Nobody ever knew that it is. Like for example, right here, there is something called Gifu, who nobody knows. Gifu is here, but nobody knows. Ishvara doesn't know and I don't know. So is it there? No. It will be absurd to posit the existence of something which nobody knows, including Ishvara. On what basis are you saying it is there? Who said it is there? You don't know and Ishvara don't know. And how you say it is there? That is the absurd thing. So, the existence which makes up this universe, therefore, has to also be known. If it were not known, then we could not posit that it is there. So the existence is not only existence, but it is also Chit, means consciousness. It is a conscious existence. It is not a unconscious existence. So Sat and Chit, really they are one and same. Now see, if you go the other way, suppose we say the absolute reality is Chit, but it is not Sat. It doesn't exist. Well, a non-existent thing is a non-existent thing. It doesn't exist at all. Then how are you talking about it then? How will you talk about it? Sat, why I am telling you these two things? Sat has to be Chit and Chit has to be Sat. Let us say the reality existed only as Sat, and it does not know. It doesn't have the capacity to know. That means the reality will be Jara. Right? And then it will not be known to exist also. Two things will happen. Let us say it was only Sat, not Chit. Take the first proposal. The reality is only Sat. It is not Chit, it is not conscious. So the reality, something which is only existing, then and unaware, unconscious, that is Jara. So Brahman will be Jara. Then that again is trouble. Suppose it is only Sat and it is not Chit, not conscious, then meaning to say there will be no consciousness to know of its existence. So if there is no consciousness to know of its existence, I was just telling you, if the existence of something is not known, that thing is not there. So Sat has to be Chit. Otherwise, either one of these eventualities will occur now. It will be a reality which does not know itself. That means to say reality Jara, or it will be a reality which doesn't exist also, because if something exists and is not known, that is as good as saying it doesn't exist. So Brahman will be non-existent. We will end up with great trouble now. So Sat has to be Chit. Chit also has to be Sat. How Chit has to be Sat? See, if Chit is consciousness, right, and it doesn't exist, then what are you talking about? Chit has to be also existing Chit, isn't it? An existing Chit. So like this, Sat and Chit really are one and same, these two things. And what is Ananda? This is the most difficult one to understand. I tell you, what people think of as Ananda. People think when you eat laddu, that is Ananda. You know all the things in this world, and people have their own expressions of Ananda. Some people eat laddu, he gets Ananda. Some people go on a roller coaster, he gets Ananda. They scream like that. That is their Ananda. What is called adrenaline rush. Some people get Ananda from adrenaline rush. And I tell you, the Jagat is such that the same thing will give Ananda to one and give Dukkha to another one. Correct or not? Like is a person who smokes. He's getting bliss from that. And if I am sitting next to him, I get misery from that same. But that is not what we call as Ananda. Usually, ordinarily, we think of Ananda as joy, pleasure, happiness, like that. If you think something that's exhilarating, that makes you jump and say, yippee. That is not what we mean by Ananda. This word you have to study it. I tell you, in scripture, this word Ananda is quite often substituted with the word Sukha. Have you seen that? Pratasmarami Visam Spuradatmatattvam Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam. It is called Sat Chit instead of Ananda. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says Satchit Sukham. So the Sukha word is substituted for Ananda very often. So the Sukha we are talking about is not Sukha that you get via an object. What you get via an object is called pleasure, not bliss. So if you drink your morning coffee and you say, what you're getting that time is called pleasure, not Ananda. Because that is caused by an object. In this case, the object is coffee. So that is called pleasure. This Sukha word, when you study it very, very carefully, you will realize, and I mentioned this in Rama in the evening class already. Sukha word, Ananda word, Shanti word, these three words are one and same. And I told you all human beings are looking for Sukha, means Sukha Prapti, Dukkha Nivritti. And when I was telling you, all monkeys are in search of Sita Ji. All those monkeys represent all our thoughts in trillions. And all our thoughts are only geared towards finding Sukha. Only thing we are looking in wrong place. There's a little handful went to south and all trillions went to other places. So we are looking for our sukha outside, but sukha is really inside. So this sukha word and shanti word and ananda word, these are all same in Shastras. Therefore, Bhagavan says in Gita, you will see for yourself, ashantasya kuta sukha. For the person who has no shanti, where is there sukha? And the one who acquires shanti acquires sukha. Ashantasya kuta sukha. The question is asking. So shanti and sukha is one and same. So when we say ananda, Satchit Ananda, we mean Shanti, peace. Now you tell, if the reality is Sat, which is infinite, in an infinite thing, there will be absolute peace and stillness or not. Because an infinite thing cannot go from here to there. So there is no movement. If there is no movement, there is peace or not? There is stillness or not? So that reality is not only Sat and Chit, it is also Ananda or peace, because it is infinite and there is no movement, there is no stirring, there is stillness in a reality. Something which is finite can move from one place and go to another place. Something which is already everywhere cannot move, it cannot stir, it is still. And if it is still, it is Shanta. It is Shanta. And it is Shanta, it is Ananda. This is how this thing has to be explained, understood. So that reality is described as Sat, Chit, Ananda, or Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam. Anandam is infinite. And I'm just telling you, if it's infinite, that means it is still. Something that is infinite cannot go or come. If they cannot go or come, it is still. If it is still, it is Shanta. If it is Shanta, it is blissful. If you are still and peaceful, unstirring, your mind is not moving, you will be blissful. But the moment your mind makes a little stir, aha, the mind has become absolutely still, quiet, that person will experience bliss only. So this Brahman, absolute reality, is described as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, or described as Sat, Chit, Ananda. These all descriptions are same. This Brahman is described as Achalam also in Gita, in every way. Achala. Achala means what? Unmoving. So if something is infinite, how it will move? Is it move from where to go where? It is already here, there, everywhere. So it's Achalam. It is also called Akarta. So now still we have to see this word, Akarta. Then there are words like, first we said started with Brahman today. Brahman is a substantive word. There are words like Ishvara. Then there are words like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, there's Avatar. Now all of these, so many things. So now tomorrow we will see all of these other words. Means today we only saw that at the fundamental level Brahman is called Satchit Ananda or Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Then what about Maya? Then how it appears as many, even though it is one. And what is Ishvara? What is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh? What is Avatar? All of this, all this related to Jagadeshwara. Because our topic now is only Jagadeshwara. So with one more, I hope I have enough time to deal with all of these words. Because we hear words like there is oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. Then you hear there is oneness between the Jiva Brahma Ekam. Ekyam. Jiva Brahma Ekyam. So they many times people use the words interchangeably, Brahma and Ishvara. What exactly is the difference between Brahma and Ishvara? Like that it's okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurupyo Namaha. Hari Om. Every day I'm going over means to say I'm recapping what we did the previous day. So we'll recap this again tomorrow. I don't know Vedanta, don't think that you'll get everything in one day. If you get everything in one day, then you don't have to come to this class.